Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Mia Dino Vlogs. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mia, and as you can tell by if you've watched my last video about starting a new storybook collection, and we were reading Ruby the Red Fairy. If we were reading this book, we're going to continue with that book today. From the chapter 3, we're going to continue on 3 more chapters, and then we'll see how far we get. See. Look, Christy whispered. There's a real pot of gold. It could just be a cooking pot, Rachel said doubtfully. Some campers might have left it behind, but Christy shook her head. I don't think so, she said. It looks really old. Rachel stared at the pot. It was sitting on the grass upside down. Let's have a closer look, said Christy. She ran to the pot and tried to turn it over. Oh, it's heavy, she gasped. She tried it again, but the pot didn't move. Rachel rushed to help her. They both pushed and pushed at the pot. This time it moved just by a little. Let me try again, Christy said. Are you ready, Rachel? Tap, tap, tap. Rachel and Christy stared at each other. What was that? Rachel gasped. I don't know, whispered Christy. Tap, tap. There it is again, Christy said. She looked down at the pot lying on the grass. You know what? I think it's coming from inside of the pot. Rachel's eyes opened wide. Are you sure? She bent down and put her ear to the pot. Tap, tap. Then she heard amazement. Rachel heard a tiny voice. Help! It called. Help me! Rachel grabbed Christy's arm. Did you hear that? She asked. Christy nodded. Quick! She said. We have to turn the pot over somehow. Rachel and Christy pushed the pot as hard as they could. It began to rock from side to side on the grass. We're almost there, Rachel cried. Keep pushing, Christy. The girls pushed with all their might. Suddenly, the pot turned over and rolled out on its side. Christy and Rachel and Christy were taken by surprise. They both lost their balance and turned onto the grass. There was both lost their balance and landed on the grass with a thump. Look, Christy whispered, breathing hard. A small shower of sparkling red dust had flown out of the pot. Rachel and Christy gasped with surprise. The dust hung by the air above them, and there, right in the middle of the glittering cloud, was a tiny winged girl. Rachel and Christy watched in wonder as the tiny girl fluttered into the sunlight. Her delicate wings sparkled with all colors of the rainbow. Oh, Rachel, Christy! Oh, Rachel! Christy whispered. It's a fairy. If you cannot hear that, it says the fairy flew over Rachel's and Christy's head. Her short, silky dress was the color of ripe strawberries. Red crystal earring glowed in her ears. Her golden earrings glowed. Hair was braided with tiny red roses, and she wore crimson slippers on her little feet. The fairy waved her scarlet wand in a shower of sparkling red fairy dust. Ooh, it's getting magical. Floated softly down onto the ground where the dust landed, all kinds of red flowers appeared with a pop. Rachel and Christy watched open-mouthed. This really and truly was a fairy. This is like a dream, Rachel said. I've always believed in fairies, Christy whispered back, but I never thought I'd see one. The fairy flew towards them. Oh, thank you so much, she called in a tiny voice. I'm free at last. She glided down and landed on Christy's hand. Christy gasped. The fairy felt lighter than and softer than a butterfly. I was beginning to think I'd never get out of that pot, the fairy said. Christy wanted to ask the fairy so many things, but she didn't know where to start. Tell me your names quickly. Quickly, said the fairy. She fluttered up into the air again. There's so much to be done, and we must get started right away. Rachel wondered what the fairy meant. I'm Rachel, she said, and I'm Christy, said Christy. But who are you? I'm the Red Rainbow Fairy, but you can call me Ruby. Ruby the red fairy. Ruby? Christy breathed. A rainbow fairy? She and Rachel stared at each other in excitement. This really was magic. Yes, said Ruby. I have 6 sisters: Amber, Sunny, Fern, Sky, Inky, and Heather. One for each color of the rainbow. You see. See that? Amber, Sunny, Fern, Sky, Inky, and Heather are the other fairies that we're going to be reading about. If you continue watching the series, then you'll find out. What do rainbow fairies do? Rachel asked. Ruby flew over and landed lightly on Rachel's hand. It's our job to put all the different colors into fairyland, she explained. So why are you shut up inside of that old pot? Asked Rachel. And where are your sisters? Christy added. Ruby's golden wings drooped, her eyes filled with tiny sparkling tears. I don't know, she said. Something terrible has happened in fairyland. We really need your help. Last chapter. This is the last chapter, which there's like 5 to 6 pages only left. So Christy stared down at Ruby sitting sadly on Rachel's hand. Of course we'll help you, she said. Just tell us how, and added Rachel. Ruby wiped her tears from her eyes. Thank you, she said. But first I must show you the terrible thing that has happened. Follow me as quick as you can. She flew into the air, her wings shimmering in the sunshine. Rachel and Christy followed Ruby across the clearing. The fairy danced ahead of them, glowing like a crimson flame. She stopped at a small pond near the weeping willow tree. Look, I can show you what happened yesterday, she said. Ruby flew over the pond and scattered another shower of sparkling fairy dust with her tiny red wand. All at once, the water lit up with a strange sliver light. It bubbled and fizzed, then became still. With wide eyes, Rachel and Christy watched a picture appeared in the water. It was like looking through a window into another land. Oh! Rachel looked. Rachel, look! Said Christy. A river of the brightest blue ran swiftly past the hills of greenest green, scattered onto the hillsides were red and white toadstool houses. And the top of the highest hill stood a very slippery palace with 4 pink towers. The towers were so high that they pointed their points. They were almost hidden by the fluffy white clouds and floated past. Hundreds of fairies were making towards the palace. Some were walking, others were flying. Rachel and Christy could see goblins, elves, and pixies too. Everyone seemed very excited. Yesterday was the day of the Fairyland midsummer ball, Ruby explained. She flew over the pond and pointed with her wand as she spotted in the middle of the scene. There I am with my rainbow sisters. Christy and Rachel looked closely where Ruby was pointing. They saw 7 fairies, each dressed prettily in their own rainbow color. Wherever they flew, they left a trail of fairy dust behind them. The midsummer ball is very special. Ruby went on, and my sisters and I have always in charge of sending out invitations. In front of the front doors of the palace slowly opened, and the sound of tinkling music. Here come King Oberon and Queen Titiana, said Ruby. The fairy queen and king and queen, they were about to begin the ball. Christy and Rachel watched as the king and queen stepped through the doors. The king wore a splendid golden coat and crown. His queen wore a silver dress and tiara that sparkled with diamonds. Everyone cheered loudly while the king signaled for quiet. Fairies and friends, he began, we are very glad to see you all here. Welcome to the Midsummer Ball. The fairies clapped their hands and cheered again. A band of green frogs in the purple suits started playing their instruments, and the dancing began. Wow. Let's see. Suddenly, a gray mist filled the room. Christy and Rachel watched in alarm as the fairies started to shiver. Then a loud, chilly voice shouted out, "Stop the music!" The band fell silent. Everyone looked scared. A tall, bony figure was pushing his way through the crowd, and he was all dressed in white, and there were tiny icicles on his white hair and beard. But his face was red and angry. "Who's that?" Rachel asked with a shiver, and ice began to form around the edge of the pond. "It's Jack Frost," said Ruby. She shivered too in the watery picture. Jack Frost glared at 7 rainbow fairies. Why wasn't I invited to the midsummer ball?" he asked coldly. The rainbow fairies gasped in honor and horror. Ruby looked up and smiled sadly at Rachel and Christy. Yes, we forgot to invite Jack Frost," she said, and looked back at the pond. They watched the fairy queen step forward. "You are more than welcome, Jack Frost," she said. "Please stay and enjoy the ball." But Jack Frost looked even more angry. "Too late," he hissed. "You forgot to invite me." He turned around and pointed a thin, icy finger at the rainbow fairies. "You will not forget this," he went on. "My spell will banish in the rainbow fairies in the 7 corners of the human world. From this day on, Fairyland will be without color forever." And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the next 3 chapters, because we will be moving on my video. We're going to be moving on another 3. We're going to do the last 1 or 2 chapters. Let's see. There's like 2 to 3 chapters. There's like 2 chapters left. So we're gonna have 2 more chapters left. In my next video, we're gonna read the last of Ruby the Red Fairy, Rainbow Magic, Book 1. Hope you enjoyed. Bye. Keep on reading. Bye.